heroes together. You in? Let's go do something crazy.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Big surprise, Chloe Bennet from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. took a bunch of shots at Secret Invasion and talked about returning to the MCU and her whole take on the whole debate as to whether or not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was currently thought of as canon in the MCU and how the Marvel powers that be treat the show right now. You also might have separately seen the head of Marvel Television talking about bringing the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters back recently. He refers to them as the ABC characters because there were a couple big ABC shows that Marvel did. Bringing back all the old TV show characters has kind of been Marvel's go-to move the last couple of years. Bringing back, recanonizing all the TV shows and characters that they canceled when Marvel's movie group took over Marvel Television several years ago. That's the ironic thing, that Marvel is now trying to Thanos unsnap all the TV shows that it snapped a couple years ago. So we'll explain what's going on here, what the timeline is on all of this happening, and why it's taking so long, seemingly, to bring, say, Chloe Bennet, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters back, when they're in the middle of bringing all these Daredevil and Netflix characters back, like we're bringing all the Defenders back through Daredevil Born Again Season 2. We just got all that footage with Jessica Jones and Matt Murdock on set. So they are confirmed bringing everybody back, but very, very slowly. Marvel just pulled way back on how many TV shows and movies that they've been releasing, which is why it seems like it's taking so long for all this to happen. There's so many TV shows that they did before Marvel's movie group took over and snapped all the TV shows. If you're brand new to the channel, of course I'll be doing videos for all this as it unfolds. It'll be fascinating to see how it all goes down, so be sure to subscribe to get everything. But if you didn't see it recently, Chloe Bennet was on an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel talking about the show and coming back to Marvel and made a bunch of Secret Invasion jokes, just taking all the shots at it.
We are not considered canon. No, we are. Thank you. I think the show will make some weird random comeback, and I agree I should have been in Secret Invasion, but I would probably been better.
Love the way she's taking no prisoners with Secret Invasion. It was a very disappointing series. They totally wasted Emilia Clarke, Mother of Dragons, the same way they wasted Kit Harington as the Black Knight. They have so many Game of Thrones actors, those are just a couple. There have been many Game of Thrones actors to star in Marvel productions and just have not figured out what to do with them yet. So much wasted potential there. Them putting Daisy Johnson in Secret Invasion as it existed wouldn't have completely fixed it, but it would have made it better. There are many fundamental flaws with that series, it would have had to been a completely different plot to be a better series. Chloe Bennet actually spoke at length about coming back to the MCU during her panel. The way she explains it, she and the other actors would love to come back. That's usually the case when you talk to actors that have been out of the MCU for a while. She was actually on the panel with Jeff Ward, who most of you recently will probably remember is now Buggy inside the One Piece Netflix universe, but on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he played Zeke during seasons 5, 6, and 7. His character was the future son of Fitz and Simmons because that show started to get into time travel by season 5. When it actually comes to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters coming back, a lot of people point to Clark Gregg already came back before Avengers Endgame during the Captain Marvel movie, but there were a lot of exceptions in that case. It was an earlier version of the character set during the 90s before he'd been killed by Loki. And there were many different iterations of the Coulson character, his character changed a couple really big times during the course of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s run. By the time we got into Avengers Infinity War in the snap, the regular, living biological version of Coulson had died of natural causes, he perma-died, and the version that eventually came back was an actual life model decoy in future seasons that then basically assumed the role of the regular Coulson, just missing a couple years worth of memories because he wasn't around for those. But you can kind of see how complicated it gets with the characters, what is going to still be canon, what is not going to be canon, do you canonize everything, do you just say they're completely different and none of that stuff happened in the MCU? This is actually what the head of Marvel TV has said about all that, bringing those Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters back, and he specifically calls them the ABC characters because there were a couple of big Marvel shows that aired on the ABC network like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, and yes, the Inhumans TV show, which technically we should not talk about. First rule of the MCU, you don't talk about the Inhumans TV show.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is it's a great show. You know, there was a long time where it was like, I mean, some of the best reveals in that show are during the Winter Soldier era. Even knowing what was happening, just being a fan, being like, it really is connected, you know? And I think that there is, like, in a crazy way, you said it does feel like it fits into the multiverse saga in an incredible way. Look, I want to go down this road with you, you know I do. Just know that I love that cast, I love Clark Gregg, and I love that show.
When he says it will be fun to bring those characters back, it sounds like he is planning on bringing them back, but most of his other related comments make it seem like the Marvel powers that be have not figured out how to reconcile all the many plot discrepancies and details when those characters come back. Like, do they just say that everything took place in an alternate timeline, alternate universe? Do they recanonize some things, but not everything? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a really good example of a show that tried to be completely canon for a couple seasons. Then at a certain point, they literally had to explain on the show that they were traveling to an alternate timeline, so they didn't have to deal with the is it canon, is it not canon stuff anymore. Only about the first 4 seasons of the show took place in what you could call the regular MCU. Season 5 was when the showrunner said that they gave up on keeping stuff canon. Like, literally, they actually said that they were not going to worry about canon stuff anymore because they decided to start using the time travel plot. When it came to Daredevil Born Again, bringing everybody back from the Netflix shows, they basically said that everything from the Netflix shows were always canon to the MCU, but the difference with the Netflix shows is that there were fewer episodes to deal with, way less crazy time travel and alternate universe subplots, so it was way simpler for them to just say, oh yeah, it just all happened in the MCU. When it comes to actors from those Netflix series playing multiple characters in the MCU, like Mahershala Ali, good example, Cottonmouth, and now Blade, they just used the Nick Fury Mace Windu explainer. This has actually come up before. Nick Fury and Mace Windu are both played by Samuel L. Jackson. Star Wars is canon to the MCU, and the actor Samuel L. Jackson then is also canon in the MCU, meaning that Nick Fury could meet Samuel L. Jackson in a Marvel movie. Spider-Man has probably asked this question before, like, why does Nick Fury look just like Mace Windu, the actor Samuel L. Jackson? Is your twin separated at birth? Is your double a Skrull? Very Deadpool kind of joke to make. The real explainer for that is that Marvel and Kevin Feige just state that Nick Fury happens to look similar to the actor Samuel L. Jackson, who is also canon to the MCU. So it's meant to be the same case with all the other actors that play double roles, like, oh, they just look like that other actor.
Oh, it's a match.
Oh, that's creepy, isn't it?
Probably the simplest way for Marvel to solve all these canon problems and timeline issues when they bring Chloe Bennet, Daisy Johnson, anybody else from that show back is to just say that not everything is canon, only the first couple of seasons are canon, and just do whatever they want to going forward with the character. And based on the way that they plan on doing everything with Avengers Doomsday, Secret Wars, and the big Marvel reboot, and everything they've delayed till after the reboot, it sounds like they're actually setting things up so that they can do something like that. Not to be forgotten, the other major reason why they waited so long to bring them back is because of the Inhumans. Quake is an Inhuman. That show relied very heavily on the Inhumans for many seasons, like it was a fundamental part of the show. Inside the regular MCU, there are no Inhumans yet. The closest they've gotten is Black Bolt in the 838 universe, and that was a very brief cameo and took place outside the MCU, completely different universe. As you've probably seen right now the past few years, the only thing that Marvel seems like they actually care about is just getting through Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars as fast as possible, then rebooting the MCU so that they can do the new X-Men movie, Mutants in the MCU during Marvel Phase 7, without having to create crazy multiverse explainers or explain why they didn't help out during the final battle in Avengers Endgame. They actually said that was specifically why they set the Fantastic Four movie in an alternate universe of the 828 universe, so that they did not have to explain why they didn't help out during Avengers Endgame. So you've probably seen there have been a lot of Marvel TV shows that have been in development, Marvel movies that have been in development, that have either been outright canceled or delayed till after the reboot. All because the plots of those things are not critical to Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. So anything that's not completely devoted to actually setting those two big Avengers movies up is just being pushed till later, and it sounds like they'll use the big reboot to hand-wave a lot of these canon backstory issues. So when everybody comes back, eventually, like when you see Quake show up in some future MCU production, people are like, what's canon now? They can just say, well, this is a new timeline. It's post-reboot. You could totally picture them in the future just doing all the hand waving going, no, 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 post reboot, new timeline, new timeline. This isn't just a pure Marvel problem. DC, James Gunn have also had this problem too, like what's canon, what's not canon. He's started to have fun with that too. James Gunn really likes to get in the weeds on stuff like that because he himself grew up being a huge comic book fan, and canon issues are a long time trope of comics. So if you've been reading comics for a long time, you're used to this kind of thing. So the whole idea is that the head of Marvel TV really does want to bring Chloe Bennet and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people back, but Marvel's bigger priority is also onboarding as many new fans as possible, especially with Avengers Doomsday, Secret Wars, and their big reboot.
Everybody on? Good, great, grand, wonderful. No yelling on the bus!
So unless they have special cameos in Avengers Secret Wars, just assume that when you see them again after the reboot, it's just going to be a much simplified version of their backstories. We will probably hear a lot about this as we get closer to Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars actually coming out. Like a lot of talk about what things are going to look like after the reboot, who's coming back, how is Marvel going to fix everything after Secret Wars. If you remember the Arrowverse, they actually had this issue with Crisis on Infinite Earths. The Cisco explainer for the new MCU is going to basically go the same way. Marvel's basically taking a page from The Flash in the Arrowverse to explain what the new MCU is going to look like. Probably the more important thing to ask is when they bring Chloe Bennet back, are they just going to say that she's a mutant instead of an Inhuman because their whole thing going forward is focusing on mutants and X-Men characters? Are they just going to pretend like the Inhumans don't exist anymore? Probably not. Like the Inhumans will probably eventually make a comeback, but it really looks like they're the lowest of the low in terms of priorities for Marvel. So beyond small cameos in Secret Wars, don't hold your breath on Inhumans coming back in a really big way going forward. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. We just got that Marvel Zombies trailer. That's going to be the next big series, but they're dropping all 4 episodes at once. There's going to be a ton of characters during that, so I'll do at least one big video for all 4 episodes when they do release it. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Everybody click here for that trailer. It goes real hard. And click here for my video on the leaked Avengers Doomsday trailer for D23. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.